And from 2016. I have moved to a good home. I leave behind the ice house. Dan Andrews would rather I lived with an ice addict, and that you should too. For some at the moment, the sex party has more credibility. From 2015. It doesn't matter that the Australian Labor Party are not in government. Many gravy trains for their supporters are in place, holding on to the public teat even though it isn't the public will. Shaping the public will, movie producers, directors and actors in Australia are not a big crowd, and they are parochial. They stick to a monoculture even though that does not reflect Australian diversity. They are also politically partisan. They use balance in much the same way weasels use words. They will praise counterculture, which promotes Australian Labor Party values from Don's party through to Australia, highlighting an Australia unrepresentative and undesirable, calling Australians racist while espousing racism for indigenes. Mr. Hockey, circa 2005, gathered industry insiders to find a way forward so that the Libs could back an independent body that was not hostile, but the insiders would rather cut their own throats than let a non-partisan, culturally diverse industry flourish. Even the current Australia Council issues grants notably directed to safe ALP seats, and the quality of the projects are questionable, which in turn means artists know they must be partisan to attract money. The problem is pernicious. Teachers, lawyers, judges, police all tend to partisan to the left, so that a teacher who is conservative cannot join a union and have their opinion valued. Universities are partisan, willing to give up public funding rather than pursue excellence in research. Hockey question shortens rhetoric on the budget reply. Rather than report the substance of Hockey's words, partisan journalists denounce them as plagiarism. Facts are subject to plagiarism rules. Were Hockey's words a part of an academic document, no doubt he would have chosen them better. But they weren't, and Hockey needed to use words readily understood to convey a message. It was sad when Shorten plagiarized another speech without adding to it or making it relevant. Hockey's speech was salient. That will confuse the partisan media who want to heckle. Sometimes the partisan lefty refers to the date and wonders why things aren't better in reflecting that date. This is the year 2015, and so we should not have domestic violence or sexual slavery. We should not have had that in 1955 either. However, 60 years ago, Rosa Parks refused to sit in the back of a bus for a white person to be able to sit in the front. The racist custom was obscene and the path to racial equality was begun. But we have gone backwards. In 2015 at the University of Western Sydney, women were required to dress in obscurity and sit in the back of a lecture. The partisan left are largely silent on the issue, as they probably were 60 years ago. What can be done to address the issue of partisan artists and public servants? One might slowly construct funding to arts and watch as the infighting begins as the partisan movement eat each other and squeal like stuck pigs. Of course, the issue is not merely artists, and that may seem unfair, but we must start somewhere. Australia is culturally diverse, and it is unfair and un-Australian to fund such bigotry. It is time to reclaim the bus.